Ladies and gentlemen, when you go against powerful churches and powerful governments, there's no end to the lengths that they will go to. A Satanist group wants to hold a black mass, but they're going to completely violate the First Amendment and move them out.
Attorney General and ask for him to really develop an opinion on that. He sent us a letter, and I see you're in the audience. Would you mind coming up and just kind of giving us the synopsis of your opinion that you sent us in the letter?
Hey guys, pay attention to how this is couched.
Thank you. Yeah, this is the contents of this are in a letter to the Speaker, the Senate President, and the Governor yesterday. So on Friday, the Archdiocese of Kansas filed a case called Nauman v. Stewart in State District Court in Leavenworth County. In that case, they allege through sworn declarations that theft has occurred, and basically argue that the stealing of a consecrated host or bread and wine is necessarily has to have occurred, since there's no way to procure it under these circumstances without there having been a theft.
Or you gave it to them.
Possibly a theft by deception.
Oh. They only thought you were Catholic.
Which is a crime under Kansas. That's where the perpetrator of the theft portrays himself as something other than he is and obtains the stolen item that way.
Portrays himself as a Catholic. Got you. That's illegal.
Because there is that sworn testimonial evidence that a theft has occurred, and because the statements of this organization that intends to hold a so-called black mass indicate that they intend to destroy the stolen property, that would involve yet another crime.
Freudian slip, maybe? Intend to steal? No, they intend to destroy.
Of course, there are free speech concerns, and of course, the Capitol has been a public forum. There are also limits, and you cannot use the cloak of the First Amendment to commit crimes. And here there'd be at least 2 crimes committed on state property. And so we believe that in this circumstance, it would be well within the First Amendment, and it would also be appropriate in the state's interest of preventing crimes for the state not to facilitate this crime occurring either inside the Capitol or on the Capitol grounds.
You members have any questions for the General?
I got a lot of questions, but they're not going to answer them.
Thank you, General. We also have a situation that we've sent some writings over to the KBI, to director of the KBI and the TV to review, because we've also had an instance with this particular group or individual threatening members of the legislature. So with those 2 things in mind, that are obviously not dealing with free speech, but dealing with actions, I had Gordon write up some amendments to our building and grounds policy, and I'm going to kick it over to Gordon.
I'd really
go over the proposed amendments.
Yeah, I'd really like to hear what those threats were, but we're not going to hear those. I doubt there were any actual threats.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, the council. Being distributed is LCC Policy 43, which is a use of the building policy, and there's on the back page there's proposed amendment that relates to as what was described, and I'll go into more detail, but Policy 43 is a policy that currently relates to the use of committee rooms and other areas that relate to offices and things like this. This particular amendment does expand the use policy in the building under the LCC policy to both State House common areas and the grounds themselves. And the use and responsibility for the State House, especially in common areas and the grounds, is shared with both the LCC and the governor. And this policy simply states that an organization that asks permission to reserve space, or an organization or individuals that don't seek permission but simply gather either in the common areas of the State House or on the grounds, are subject to some limitations and can be prevented from gathering if certain criteria are met. The first one has to do with that they will not be granted permission to meet or gather when, if their meeting restricts based on race and some other factors. The reason that's in there is that is currently LCC policy with regard to rooms, the usage of rooms, so it's just simply extended to the common areas. What we're particularly was referenced by the Attorney General is more items 2 and 3, and 2 is related to the threat. If a threat has been made against a member of the legislature, the governor, or other public official, and it presents a credible threat as verified by either the Highway Patrol or Capitol Police or the KBI, then that organization, permission for them to gather can be denied, and and even their gathering can be prevented because of the current credible threat. The number 3 relates to if the organization has stated explicitly that the meeting or gathering will involve a violation of law, and that is one of the scenarios that the Attorney General mentioned. This policy, I will mention, is generally applicable. It's not applicable to a specific organization or group of individuals.
Thank you, Gordon. I want the committee to make sure that's clear. This isn't specifically for this particular group. It would be any group that proposed to come onto the grounds and commit a crime, or anyone who is actively threatening a member of the legislature or the governor's office. So this is not, I want to make it clear, these amendments have nothing to do with a free speech or free speech infringement. Really, it deals with projection or of a crime or a threat. So any questions for Gordon? Yeah. Representative.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Gordon, with page 2, section C, number 1, just for the public, I'm assuming based on the way this is written, so if an organization had like a Black Lives Matter rally or a women's march or Catholic rally, that's okay as long as it's open to everyone.
That's correct.
Thank you.
And as I said, this language is currently part of the LCC policy earlier, and it's just continued on.
Senator Sykes.
Thank you, Gordon. Current statute, I think it's 753762, has the Secretary of Administration of responsibility for the building. So what does that do in reference to that? Are we changing who has authority?
No, the LCC, I think it's 65A is the statute, has authority by statute to assign space throughout the building. And so this policy is in conjunction with the fact that the LCC shares with the Department of Administration and the governor the allocation of space in the building. And I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth, but obviously because we share responsibility, the governor has a part in this as well. But in order for the LCC to assert their part of the responsibility, a change to the policy would be needed.
Any further questions? Seeing none, I'll defer to the speaker for motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we accept the amendment to Policy 43 as stated in the document we received.
We have a motion, second by Representative Carpenter. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. And we would call upon the governor to, we do believe the Grotto's advertisement of the black mask qualifies as a crime. The threats have been sent over to KBI for review. So I would say we call upon her to empower the Highway Patrol to not allow the mask to happen next week. With that, we're adjourned.